Right, are the colors here too saturated? No, they are not. Let's get this. Is this about the E protocol? From Scavenger Eon. Notes on E protocol 1. Scavenger Eon's first note on the E protocol. I accidentally encountered a dying angel during my treasure hunt in the wasteland, though her claim was mostly preposterous. I believe it is worth documenting. The E protocol, the Mother Sphere's plan to exterminate all Nightingales and take back Earth. I couldn't help myself but ask, are you out of your damn mind? When she briefly told me of the plan, who in the world would think sending only a few airborne squadron members to do the job is a solid plan? We all know that of the cursed colony extinction. If Mother Sphere wants Nightingales out of the picture, dropping few chunks from the moon will do the trick. You think she won't do it because we will all die as a result? Or as we'll all die as well. Really? She abandoned us and left us here like a bag of scraps decades ago. Now she's being merciful all of a sudden. It is so hot in here, I feel like... Oh, right, it's gonna go into a cutscene if I walk... I mean, I've already iterated on this E protocol, like, notes enough times. And reading that one... Actually, you know what? Let's read it again. I couldn't immediately pick up anything new that I haven't already said before. Which already is a skill in enough on itself, I would say. Like, I've, like, talked of so many goddamn things in this game. The fact that I remember everything I have said is actually kind of insane when you think about it. So I already know, like, if it's worth talking about something because I already mentioned it. Yeah, there really isn't anything new here I can think of. It just comes down to what I said, I think, of the previous playthrough or on the PS5 already, which is, you know, Mother Sphere, obviously. Well, I've mentioned this actually quite a few times because context is important to remember. Otherwise, like, something I say might not be, like, understood. So, like, I need to always, like, re-explain myself at times so that with the context so that the substance that I newly discover makes sense. But, like, it just ties back to that idea of Mother Sphere wanted to create her perfected, like, psychological or psychic development in her own enhanced humans through our Eve prototype here. Whenever Eve advances to the point where she becomes, well, when she passes the Turing test, I guess we could call it, where, you know, she's as close to, like, culturally and traditionally, like, uprooted human being or close to a one as much as possible, where Mother Sphere is finally satisfied with her emotional and her psychic development, then she's finally gonna conclude the E protocol and actually send a significant number of more Eve protocol members as well as her other ground troop forces to, you know, take back Earth from the Nightingales. Because let's be honest, she's been scavenging resources around you know, the nearby space, or maybe even further space already at this point, because, like, on the Return of the Colony ending, when we see this massive, like, atom that she calls the, you know, colony, that even Lily travel back to in that one, like, spaceship that looks like a shoe, you know, like a massive heel. Like, we already know from that point that, you know, she's incredibly, like, advanced, both, like, architecturally, like, in the space or in the geo-orbital space of Earth, you know. So it makes kind of no sense, just looking at how, like, grandiose her, like, constructions are and her technology that she uses at this point, that she would not be able to rid the, you know, Earth of some simple-minded, like, hostile Nightingales if she really wanted. The only thing that only time, like, otherwise opposed for this plan, that she's unable to do it somehow, would be because she's actually running out of resources and she's actually scavenging barely for resources herself. But I don't think that makes sense, because of what happens at the very end of the game. Like, the very end of the game, on the secret ending of the game, she sends the 8th Eve protocol deployment members immediately after our Eve with new spaceships, or new, like, you know, orbital airships, or whatever she calls them. And the fact that she's able to already has prepared a new, like, new lot of angels, like Eve protocol members, that fast, tells of, like, some of the inaccuracies, like, in her authenticity throughout, like, these decades, whenever she's sending, like, only, like, handfuls or hundreds or maybe 1,000 or so eProtocol members like every like, you know, 5 to 7 years or so, you know? So it kind of doesn't pan out, you know? Unless she's been preparing for that moment for like decades already, where like she's assuming that our ePrototype will become intelligent enough and maybe even defeat the Elder Knight Hiba in one way or another, like at certain point, where she's like been hoarding resources for like that moment in particular, but I don't... I mean, it's possible. I mean, she's incredibly advanced and, you know, self-thought, like, well, both self-thought as well as, you know, preconceived, like, artificial intelligence that is incredibly, like, advanced and cultivated, you know, so... It's not an impossibility that she would not have enough, like, foresight and planning to do something like that, of course, which she very likely could also easily have that capability or that thought process going on.
Yes, this is no longer the drone you knew.
You know, that kind of like future foresight or providence is something the Matrosphere would definitely be known for.
Long-range projectiles.
She also talks in riddles and in...
this is more than just an upgrade. It's an evolution!
Yeah, she talks about, or in futuristic, like, riddles also at the end of the game on all of the endings whenever, like, she contacts, you know, even Lily at the end of the game, depending on what ending you do, you know?
Great! Now, right on target again!
Right on targets. That's bullshit. Hitting these... Dude. Stellar Blade's fucking aiming, by the way, with this drone railgun is one of the worst out of all games that I have ever experienced. It's like they intentionally wanted to make aiming this thing hard. They really did.
It'll be very useful for the mission. Thanks, Lily.
Great.
The bullets don't even land where you aim a lot of the time. They land like close to where you aim, but not exactly on the dot. Like, see, like if I draw onto an object that is like traveling here, I have to like shoot a bit before. Like normally in most games, because of bullet travel time, you have to shoot like, you have to like lead your shots a bit, right? So that they hit the enemy. Well, in this game it seems inconsistent. You lead the shot on the enemy, it sometimes hits and sometimes you have to hit more directly where they exactly are standing, even with the same ammunition. So like, it makes no sense and it's inconsistent, you know? It just really bothers me, you know? Because you know how I like my games most of the time. Consistency is what I like. If I can figure out new mechanics or cool interactions or something and I, you know, use them in the actual gameplay of the game to, you know, further improve or enhance my own experience, I want it to be consistent most of the time. And if something is inconsistent, then it's rather annoying more than anything else. Those surprises are a different thing, of course, but... well... that's different again.